somebody from Navy has got to do with IPTA? Well, you see, quite a illustrated career in defense sector. Then he retired. You hear from him all his story. I will only say he is currently the chairman and managing director of NEPA Mills, a mill which was shut for years. And here is a man who, without knowing about the paper industry, without any experience in the industry, he has turned around the company. So, Commodore Saurav, I'm not really...
I suddenly realized that I stand between your hot cup of coffee and my talk. When we were in our school and colleges, all of us hated the last class and the student who asked the last question, because it was always either he stood between the break or lunchtime. However, I'll keep my talk short as possible. Shri Ganesh Bhattiji, President IPTA, Shri M.K. Goelji, Honorary Secretary General IPTA, Dr. Sundaraman, and my eternal guide, Dr. M.K. Gupta, Director CPPNI. Ladies and gentlemen, at the very outset, I would like to convey my deep sense of appreciation to Indian Pulp and Paper Technical Association in general, and Shri Bhattiji, President IPTA, and Shri Goelji, Honorary Secretary General IPTA in particular, for providing NEPA Limited a platform at the very beginning of a sort of a rebirth. Also, it gives me immense pleasure, and it's my proud privilege to be present here today amongst the doyens and the luminaires of the paper industry. And definitely I'm not going to talk about how to make paper, because you know much more than even I can even think of. So why am I here? So the question which I had asked Mr. Goel when we met in Calcutta some 3 months back, he said that you should talk about the NEPA story. So I will revolve my talk about the NEPA story. You heard about 3 I's, 3 E's. I will talk about 3 C's. It is not there in my talk, but I thought when I was sitting over here and listening to wonderful speakers, I said I also should make it into 3 C's. That is change, conservation, and competition and communication. It would be a wonderful learning experience in this seminar to listen to all the stalwarts of the industry, to enhance my understanding of the operation of the paper mill and factors that would help the mill run more efficiently. Therefore, the topic of the seminar, which is not only topical for NEPA alone, but for the complete industry, that is energy conservation, cost reduction, and alternative sources of energy, is the need of the day and hour. And it would be definitely extremely educative for all of us present here to listen to all the experts in the field. So, coming back to the NEPA story. The story of NEPA Limited is not a fairy tale, though it started once upon a time. NEPA was the pioneer of the newsprint industry, founded by Messrs. Nair Press on 25th of January 1947. I must admit what a so-called gentleman from Kerala was doing in the jungles of Madhya Pradesh. Even today it is extremely difficult to reach in that place. He started this company as National Newsprint and Paper Mills Limited, which was taken over by the central provinces and Berar, which is the present state of Madhya Pradesh, in 1949. With the commencement of commercial production on 26th April 1956, with only one machine, the mill was commissioned by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who dedicated this pioneer newsprint mill to the nation. In 1958, this mill was taken over by the central government as a central public service enterprise. So it is one of the oldest CPSEs or PSUs in colloquial terms. The raw material that time which was used was salai wood and bamboo. The second machine was commissioned in 1969. The decades, or those decades, were known as the golden period of Nepal Limited, and many of you, not so young, I won't think so, but old, have been associated with this mill in some way or the other. It won many accolades and good friends during this era, being the largest in Asia at that point of time, including felicitation by the President of India, being one of the most efficient paper mills at that point of time. The name Nepal Limited was changed over in 1989. As we know, that's what the word change comes from. Change is the only constant. Either you change with time, else you turn obsolete. It is very important to have a vision to extrapolate the requirement of tomorrow, as you already heard, to experts in the field, and with innovative measures chart out a roadmap for future. Nepal faltered in this area. In 1991, post-liberalization and opening up of the market, Nepal could not sustain the competition, and from grossing the highest profit in 1991, the company spiraled down from 1992 onwards, and in 1996, Nepal Limited did not even have the finances to pay the electricity bill, and electricity was disconnected by the MP Electricity Board. In 1997, Nepal did try to turn around by commissioning a 12.27 megawatt turbine, which is still running, and establishing a captive power plant, and replaced raw material with old newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, change, if you don't accept change and if you're not prepared, you can see in front of you a story of a company which was doing so well. Within a year, it started making heavy losses and it was really shut down. After this 1997, it did show initial promise, but the government considered prudent, and rightly so, to disinvest the company in 2003-2004. With no major buyers in sight, the company was referred to the board for industrial and financial reconstruction in 2008. Actually started in 1998, the process, but finally it was in 2008. After weighing various options, the board recommended for revival of the company, as Nepal was grasping for a new lease of life, and the saga of revival and mill development plan commenced in 2014. starting with identifying of vendors and contractors for the project. A major point which I missed during the course of running the history of the company: why would anyone establish a company or a mill in the middle of nowhere between two reserve forests? Even today, as I speak, it takes immense effort to reach that place. There is a vision which was by the then government of India. There is a tribal area and maybe one of the most backward areas even today, which I was mentioning to somebody, you may not be knowing. The district is still one of the most malnourished districts in India. And Nepal Limited being the only source of employment even today. That's the precise reason the government of the day stood strong to revive the company. A reason, and important at that, many failed to comprehend. My heartfelt gratitude to the present government of India and Ministry of Heavy Industries in particular for being visionary. The project started to take shape and commenced in July 2016, and the plant was recommissioned on 23rd August 2022. Standing before you, I do not want to give any excuses because it shouldn't have taken such a long time to complete the project. Yet, I want to share a couple of reasons which were mostly beyond the control of the company. Be it availability of funds, where the government was concerned, 2 phases of COVID, or even getting stuck with very challenging vendors. And just not only because it's a government entity as perceived by me. Definitely, there are many lessons to be learned to improve efficiency. That is why this seminar becomes very topical. Conservation of energy will give us cost reduction, and that's how we not only save the planet, we can save ourselves. At the end of the project, we have installed a state-of-the-art 300 BD-TPD de-inking plant supplied by Andrich, China, refurbished and modernized both paper machines with Capsule, Czech Republic, with complete digital control done by Walmart, complete refurbishment of our captive power plant by Simpson, Mumbai, adhering to the stringent Pollution Control Board recommendations. And today, Nepal stands tall, meeting all requirements, keeping in mind about our responsibility towards this very important aspect. We have also installed a 2000 mld effluent treatment plant supplied and erected by Mrs. Arvind and Visol. Challenges galore, like any project, accentuated by its geographical location, shortage of skilled manpower, which I think is the major worry for all of us, and also very challenging, handling very challenging vendors. When I joined, I was told I must be crazy to take on a responsibility by leaving the cushy environs of Bombay and straight away going to one of the most backward areas of the country. A month short of 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, there are no regrets. Coming to my journey till date, I was welcomed by drooping shoulders, negative mindset, and hope of no revival from my colleagues. I'll be honest, and that is why I'm over here to speak to you. How you should take change, conservation and competitiveness, and consider it in your scheme of things. With no background on paper mills, I consider it prudent to to visit one to understand the operations of a paper mill. So I won't name the paper mill over here. I did visit, and I was greeted with copious amount of pity, cynicism, and a little sarcasm too, that I had accepted this job at a mill and the situation couldn't be revived. I was naturally quiet when they were talking to me, as whatever they said was the truth, and truth is always bitter. But I knew myself what could be achieved. So, one of the C's could be confidence in yourself. Though I must admit, they were gracious enough. The same people from the mill were gracious enough, even today, to solicit advices, share experiences, and giving me practical tips. This experience did help in good stead and also was a source of motivation. On my return from that visit, it was earliest, within a month of my joining the mill, I had visited this paper mill. So when I returned to Nepal, I addressed, I had only 300 people at that time. So I addressed all those 300 pairs of group on no shoulders and shared what the world thought of us. They knew it, but the chairman telling them, I don't know whether it was that motivated them, but after 23 months, I can proudly state from this public platform that those pairs of group shoulders are erect, brimming with confidence and pride, and the architects of green story of Nepal. I have, amongst all of you, I actually pulled him out from his job. I have with me Mr. Ram Alagasan, who is my general manager, works and project, who is over here. Ram, could you please stand up? And he has been the leader. He has taken all of the pains to get this mill going. It has been a dream come true, and with great conviction, I can say a dream is made of great determination, hard work, and dynamic leadership. Even today, I am struggling to cope up with the jargons of the paper industry. For me, it took a long time to understand and grasp. The opacity is not only for diamonds alone. Brightness is not restricted to surf and Nirma, and breaking strength is not restricted to ropes. Nepal Limited is not a dream. It's a part of India's legacy. We all, young and not so young, have learned about Nepal in our geography lessons. So, as we take baby steps, once again, and keeping competition aside, I would request all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to provide moral support and hold our hands to begin India's lost legacy. As long as the smoke gushes out of the chimney, keeping all the environmental parameters in mind, Nepal Mills is a beacon of hope for the people in that area, and I can assure you, we won't let you down. My initial reaction when I joined the industry, it reminded me of Mr. Bachchan's when he was crooning an iconic melody. मेरे अग्नि में तुम्हारा क्या काम है? However, with the adulation, warmth and affection which I have received from all of you for the past 2 years, and I am overwhelmed. And all I can say, again, as Mr. Bachchan proved in another iconic melody, ये दोस्ती हमने तोड़ी. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.